Hello and welcome to the WOWCON workshop all about mental health in children's literature. I'll start by introducing myself and my books. My name is Marisa Noelle and I am the author of 3 published books, all of which have mental health elements in them to one degree or another. My first book was published and it was called The Shadow Keepers. The cover has been changed now to this, so you might have either copy or you might see other copy. Both are still available. And this is about a girl who sees shadowy monsters in mirrors, and of course no one believes her. No one else can see them. And after an incident, she's committed to a mental health hospital to face her fears, and it's up to her to prove whether these monsters are actually real or not. And she has always had anxiety and OCD, and it gets worse with her trying to cope with these monsters that she sees. So that is my book that has the most mental health in it. It's quite heavy on the mental health elements, but also the spook. My second book is called The Unadjusteds, and this is a sci-fi dystopian about genetic modification. The heroine, Silver Melody, also struggles with anxiety. She has a lot of responsibility and she struggles with self-doubt and her expectations and an inherited anxiety from her mother. The sequel, this is a trilogy altogether, is coming out December 3rd. Now, I haven't done a cover reveal for this next book, but I'm happy to share with all of you this evening the cover for The Rise of the Altereds, which will be coming December 3rd, the second instalment in Silver's story. My third book is called The Mermaid Chronicles: Secrets of the Deep. Now, this is about an 18-year-old girl called Cordelia who lost her mother and her twin brother in a shark attack and has been terrified of the water ever since, even though she had been a champion swimmer. She won't even get in a bath until the day she discovers that she is actually a mermaid and has to face her fears and learn to deal with her grief. So that's my books. A little bit about me. When Stuart asked me to do a workshop on mental health, I really jumped at the opportunity because it's a really important topic to me. I have had my own mental health problems since I was at university. So a little bit on the background. In my first term at university, I lost 2 friends to meningitis, and it was horrific. There was a meningitis epidemic. There was a flu epidemic. These 2 girls were in my flat and they had been to visit their GP. The GP said, "You've got the flu, go home." They died within 24 hours. 60 of my friends were rushed to hospital over the next few days. Lots more had meningitis and septicemia but recovered. So I found that over the months after that experience, I developed my own anxiety problems, largely around health-related issues. I was convinced that any symptom I couldn't explain in my body was a sign of doom and gloom. And of course I would go and get myself checked out, but I wouldn't believe the doctors because they had told my friends that they were fine and they died. So I developed a huge mistrust of health professionals. And the only way I could think to control what was going on was through OCD rituals, and that took over my life. I ended up dropping out of university. I became housebound, but over the years I learned how to deal with what was happening, and I learned how to deal with the grief, and I saw therapists and I tried medications, and eventually I learned how to handle and I recognised the signs of a potential relapse that's coming. So I think over the last 25 years, I've become somewhat of an expert in mental health because of the way that I've lived it in my life. So that's why I'm here today, to talk to you from an experience point of view and how we can include this in our writing.